Hi. I once heard it said that if you don't know where you're going, any road can take you there. Well, I think you TEDx audiences have a pretty good sense of where you're going. Perhaps it's getting better at your job, getting a better job, or maybe just becoming a better person. So I think you have a sense of where you're going, but like all of us, maybe not quite a sense of how to get there. You could read a book. There are plenty of them on the market. You could wing it, but the odds of success there are kind of slim. Or I could introduce you to what I call the contribution code. It's 3 B's that show you the hows of how to find and take that road to get you what you want to be and where you want to be. But first, let me tell you where the code comes from. It all starts with a little girl surrounded by 3 boys. Actually, they were her brothers, 2 younger and 1 older. They were great friends. Their parents told them that they were a gift to one another. Growing up, the big brother took his kid sister with him everywhere. And when his friend said, "Why did you bring a girl?" his answer was, "She's not a girl. She's my sister." And the girl learned that she was special. Had you been there when they went to the baseball field, you would have always seen the big brother choose his sister first, because a brother and sister should never play against each other. Now, he chose her, but she knew that she owed it to him and to herself to pay attention and to try to hit harder and run faster than anyone else. The big brother told her that whatever he could do, she could do better. Now, she knew that that could not possibly be true. He was years older and stronger and taller than she. But she owed it to him and to herself to believe. Growing up, when he was there, and she was harder for her to believe because she was a late bloomer. You know what that is? You know, when all the cool girls in her class had stepped over into that world of womanhood, she was left behind. They sprouted their bodies and their wings, and she remained in the land of the child. She was no longer apart, but she was set apart. She was tiny, not tall, straight, not curvy, boyish, not girly, cute, not pretty, and smart, but not savvy. Hence, she was the perfect target for the mean girl syndrome. How many of you know what I'm talking about? Yeah. You know, you never quite forget those subtle barbs and sometimes direct hits that are lobbed at you just because you're not like everybody else, just because you're not like them. That residue of embarrassment and unease has a long shelf life. It was a painful place to be. But the boy knew what his sister was, strong and capable. Even when she was unsure, he had absolute faith in her. He said, "You're right. You're not like everybody else. You're one of a kind, and you're going to make a difference." And somehow, she began to believe. Our mom, with her steely resolve and her gentle push, taught my brothers and me that we were redeemed by our redeemed by our courage, that bravery lived in every one of our hearts, and that it was her expectation that it would be called upon, and that failure in everyone's life was unforgivable, but that giving up was, failure in everyone's life was to be expected, but that giving up was unforgivable. Mom embedded in me and my brothers what I call the contribution code. 3 B's. Be bold, not brash. Be confident, not cocky. And be kind, never cutting. So let me start with the beginning. That was Mom's gift to me, and I want to share it with you. The first one, be bold, not brash. The New York Times recently had an article that said that what distinguishes our species most from any others is our ability to think ahead. It's foresight. Foresight is what holds our society together. But if you don't have, in order to move forward, you have to be able to take risks and to seize opportunities. Just imagine if you weren't bold, you could spend your life or a large portion of it thinking, oh my God, if only I had, as opposed to, oh my God, look what I have. Which reminds me and brings me to 1973. 1973 was a year that my brother, Joe Biden, decided that he was going to run for the United States Senate from the state of Delaware, and that I was going to be his campaign manager. It was a tumultuous time. There was war in Vietnam, and there was war at home with civil rights. Big problems needed big leaders. So we announced that we were going to run, and when the people looked at us and said, you're crazy. I mean, you're nuts. And I looked at my brother and said, you are absolutely nuts. Kind of the rolling of the eyes, and said, you have got to be kidding. First of all, Joe, you're 29 years old, and you have to be 30 to be constitutionally sworn in, and he wasn't 30 until after the election. Second, you don't have any money. As a matter of fact, you owe money. Third, you're running against a 26-year incumbent from the state of Delaware, and almost everyone knows him, and they all love him. And fourth, Joey, don't forget, you're a Democrat. It's 1972. It was the year that was expected, and it didn't disappoint. Every Democrat was defeated. It was the presidential Nixon landslide against Senator George McGovern. But I didn't say you're nuts, because I believed in my brother. And as to my own ability to be his campaign manager, well, I didn't know what I didn't know. I didn't know what I was supposed to be able to do. Remember, he had told me that I could do anything my entire life. So I jumped in. And we won by 3,162 votes. We won not because we had power or position. Heck, he's the first senator that he and I ever met. But we won because we stepped out of the box. We were bold, not brash. And when we ran, what my brother did for me is that I was able to give back to him what he had given to me my entire life. I was able to personally be his best friend and wingman, and professionally, I was his campaign manager and the principal surrogate in the unwelcoming and sometimes hostile world of male-dominated politics. And what I was able to do in that same experience of being bold and not brash and running for the Senate was to give back. It opened up an opportunity for me to give back to a lot of little girls just like me, but who didn't have a big brother with an outstretched hand and an even bigger heart to tell her that she was a champion. That's the picture of me and Joe when we started out. Now, the second B is to be confident, not cocky. Confidence is something pretty hard to grab a hold of. And if and when you get it, it's hard to keep. I mean, sometimes you can actually feel it just seep right out of your body. I know when we first started, my confidence is hard to, I'm right now seeping right out of my body, this confidence. There is, and I know this by heart, I'm telling you. But there's a study by a leading women's organization called KPMG. And what it did is it did a survey of 60,000 women in the workforce. And in that workforce, among those women, it was found that less than a third of those women had confidence when growing up. Now, why does that matter? It matters because connections and confidence are the two essential ingredients in a young girl's ability to lead. The same workforce said that, the same study showed that when women receive praise from their bosses or their mentors, that does more for their confidence and their self-esteem than does a pay raise or a promotion. Now, that's a big deal. Genuine praise, the power of genuine praise, is not to be underestimated. Words matter. And that's why you often hear employees say that they leave their manager, they don't leave their company. And what's good for business and companies is also good for parents, too. I'm not talking about fluff praise, like, oh, you are so sweet, I could eat you with a spoon. I'm talking about substantive, earned praise. You are so brave that you stood up for your friend. I am so proud of you. You never quit. What a good man you are. Such a leader, you carried your whole team over the line, and you still gave them all the credit. Genuine praise doesn't just make us feel better. Genuine praise makes us be better. And the last B is to be kind, never cutting. What matters most in life are simple, ordinary acts of kindness. One person being unselfish or decent to another. A simple act can change our day, and our lives are lived one day at a time. Like that glance that says, I've got your back. Or that grip that says, I'm here. Or that tiny nod that signals approval. That's what takes the measure of the man or woman. And it turns out that kindness doesn't just benefit the receiver, but being kind makes us healthier and happier. All the studies, there are tons of them, show that it affects the giver psychologically, emotionally, and physically. The National Institute of Health did a study on the functional MRIs of volunteers who either contributed money or actively engaged in volunteering in organizations. And it discovered that giving stimulates the rewards center of the brain. The brain gets on a high. It's actually called a helper's high. So you can get hooked on helping. which kind of sounds like a win-win to me. And just as good can come from good, so too can good come from bad if you look hard enough. It takes a little longer, and it takes a dose of what we call empathy. Empathy is the guardrail between kindness and cutting. I mean, just think, if you could taste or feel the destruction in ill-chosen words, then perhaps those ill-chosen words would never have been spoken. It might have been the thing that had stopped when my brother's friends, when they said, "Why did you bring a girl?" It might have stopped them from that comment. It might have stopped the mean girls from saying, "What, you? Get lost, you can't sit here." Or it may have stopped the political establishment from saying, "No women allowed." Empathy enables kindness. And kindness is what enables you to give that glance that makes someone else feel confident, or to give that firm grip that gives someone else strength, or to give that smile that shows approval and give that nod that makes someone else smile. Empathy is sorely needed today. So like I said, if you don't know where you're going, then any road can get you there. But you TEDxers have a pretty good sense of where, and I wanted to tell you how. Be brave, be competent, be bold, be confident, and be kind. I was lucky I had my mom and dad, and I still have my brothers. My brothers were able to see something in me, possibility, that I was never able to see for myself. But they did, and it mattered. So I can't give you my mom and dad. I can't lend you my brothers. Wish I could, but I can't. But what I can give you is the contribution code, the 3 Bs. Be bold, not brash. Be confident, not cocky. Be kind, never cutting. That was Mom's gift to me, and that's my gift to you. Thank you.